So let's get started in session 17, guys. So as you know, last week we talked about kind of leading with a little bit of homework around exploring your niche or however you guys want to say it. I think I say niche all the time. But I just wanted to check in with you guys. Like, who do you think your ideal clients are? What are your initial thoughts around that? And if you looked at any of the resources I sent you, what did you think?
I looked at the resources and there were some did you see all of those? I mean, some of those are very, like the cat owner and breeder coach. And some of them were really, wait, I wrote some of them down. Where is it?
Some of them are hilarious.
Yeah, some of them are hilarious. Yeah, they were funny. Cat owner bird owner breeder coach. Yeah, But yes, I did look at those.
And I like to send that just because there is so many possibilities. There are people that go that specific and are passionate about cats, for example. I mean, there is that, but it's more of like, I send that one more of as like, it's humorous, but it's real. Like
it's real.
There really are, you can get so specific.
So I was looking at it and I kind of went with the health coach, but there's so many things that you could put under that to kind of narrow it down a little bit and narrow down the age range that I put in there. Because you've got what are some of the other health, the Heart's Desire coach, the life goals coaching, the motivational coach, the stress management coach, the weight loss coach. All of those can go underneath what I think I would do.
Right.
From a marketing perspective.
And who's your ideal target group?
30 to 40-year-olds. Probably.
So this week, did you gain any more clarity on your group? And if so, what ways?
Any more clarity? The focus isn't necessarily going to be just, it's going to take a nice wellness piece as well and bring in the meditation and the stress management and things like that. So there is going to be a more wellness focused part to it.
So you just more of played around what is actually going to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you had a good laugh too.
I did. It was a good time.
Awesome. That reminds me, did you guys hear about, there was a lady that was like a cuddles, she would basically she was cuddle as part of her position. It was really weird.
Yeah, and they opened cuddle clinics. Didn't they for a while open cuddle clinics?
I heard something about that. I was like, this has got to be fake, but it turned out to be real.
It's real. Yeah.
Yeah. That just kind of reminded me of that. Not that we cuddle and coach, but that's a little weird. But yeah, it's funny how many things are out there. All right. Well, Sarah, what about you? Checking in at your niche.
Yeah, well, so again, I was just working on it before this class, last week. But for some reason, if I don't know, if I save it for the last hour before, then I hyper focus and I get all this neat stuff done. But
fresh in your mind.
Yeah. So I don't know, I kind of been struggling because I know I'm really good with my families that I work with for rec. And I think the parents and all of that would be a really natural kind of forward progression from where I am. But then I've also, in grad school, all my research was on diabetes and preventable diseases. So I really want to do that side of it too. So I've kind of been struggling, do I have to pick one? I don't know. But just now, I was writing a bunch of stuff out. And I started thinking about my clients. And a lot of my clients and their families actually struggle with their own health and preventable diseases because they're so busy taking care of the family member with a disability, and that becomes such a big thing. So it got me kind of inspired, just thinking like, oh, like maybe I could have my rec approach, but then for the client, but then also life coach the families, like life coach the individual family members, and then also as a family unit, do like a whole group. So I don't know. It's kind of a different way of thinking of sort of combining both of those things.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So how are you feeling as far as your confidence in combining them now?
Well, it makes sense. So I have this other dream that it's just sort of been like coming around in the past couple of years. But I want to build like a really cool online network and have an app and all this stuff where people can go on and create like their own user profiles and then connect with each other, and have all different types of community resources and different things. So that could be really cool, like to connect families together and clients together. And I think, I don't know, it feels like, oh, that works too really well.
Yeah. Well, and just know, Sarah, if you want to offer like 2 very specific types of coaching, I'd recommend having like almost 2 businesses. Like doing 2 separate things. Like you can have an umbrella, like, but having like separate like areas. So you'd probably have like a separate marketing campaign for one and separate for the other if they're so different. There's no rule that says you can't have multiple.
Yeah. No, well, that's what I was thinking. Like, so when I started in January with my new company, it would be rec, aqua, and wellness coaching. So they would all be separate, but maybe. So yeah, it would definitely be like separate services. Have to figure out. It'd be neat to be able to market them together. Like if a new family or client comes on board, just like to have it to offer as a service, like a whole package.
Right, like different packages or different programs under that setting.
Yeah. That'd be neat. Yeah, so this all is just sparking.
Very cool. Well, just keep mulling it over. Feel free to bounce ideas off all of us too. But because it takes some time to play with the ideas sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. All right, JC, what about you? How are you doing with your decision to leave your job this week?
I gave my notice on Monday.
Wow.
Yeah, I did agree to stay until New Year's, which is a really long notice, but the way my job works, it's very cyclical, and so, fall semester is all set, and now we have to get ready for prepping the spring semester, so ideally, if they could find someone to pick up where I left off, it would be mostly set, and the person would have a minute to catch their breath, and they figure it out and kind of figure out what was going on before they had to launch into summer and fall planning, which is a little bit smaller. Everyone was really supportive. I mean, they all said we wish you would stay, but understand that, you need to be healthy. I don't think I've slept since I gave my notice. If anything, I think I'm like more wired right now, just trying to figure out what I want to get done in the next 2 months and try to set limits for, what I actually can get done, what's realistic, and then what's just going to have to be left. But yeah, I feel really good about it. I think once I get my little anxiousness out, I think I'll be really settled with my decision. I know in my gut it's the right thing. So I'm really happy about it. And with people on stress management and overall wellness, some of the same things that Robin had mentioned, I feel like it can go under a whole umbrella. But originally when I signed up for this class, I was hoping to do the executive training course, but didn't fit with my schedule. So I was like, well, I'll start with wellness because, I have wellness background. Anyway, so I was like, that's a really good fit for me. but I would like to eventually kind of branch off into professional development. I would love to work with a company and just kind of work on, I don't want to say self-care, but right now we're living in a world where technology makes it super easy for us to set really fast timelines, and we can't always keep up with them. And so like actually take care of ourselves. So I'd like to help people kind of balance, you know, the trying to have it all lifestyle with reality.
I like that advertising. Like, you want to have it all?
You want to have it all, well, you know, you might end up not sleeping for a few months. Let me help you find a balance.
Yeah. Very cool, JC. And a place might be to start is just start with like with people that are in like those stressful positions, like in executive positions, but coach them in wellness coaching. Because a lot of the basic concepts that you're learning for coaching wise will work for anyone. But there's like wellness specific topics, just like there's executive specific topics, and then we have academic specific topics too. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't coach an executive.
Right.
Very cool. Well, don't let it keep you up at night trying to figure it out. Like all of you, I just encourage you to continue, you know, brainstorming until you find that perfect fit of like, that's it. And so I think it's just something you have to continue just mulling over. It's a process for sure. All right. And JC, are you making dinner right now?
No, actually, I just finished up some dishes, and I'm gonna fill up my water bottle, pack my lunch, and call it good. Sit down, actually sit at the table.
Awesome. All right. Well, glad you're here, JC, and I'm glad that you're feeling settled in your decision.
Thank you.
All right. Kellen, what about you? We're checking in on how you are and if you had any insights on your niche.
Yeah, I've been giving it some thoughts. You know, I've been working at home for quite a while now, and I miss interacting with all different age groups. You know, so I was thinking maybe trying to break it down into 3. You have like youth, and then adults and senior. And so I think I could try to, you know, cater to it in that way, having broken it down by those kind of age brackets. But what else did I say about it? As I did mention that I had created a domain name for the youth segment, and I don't know if I think there's really a market for elderly people. I don't know. I'm just going to have to explore that and see. But, you know, primarily I'm thinking I would be working with middle-aged people that maybe have received some diagnosis and they want to, you know, find a way to live with their diagnosis and optimize. But I'm thinking I don't want to narrow it, you know. I love working with young people, old people. I love all ages. So
that kind of begs the question. Oh, this when I'll start talking, or is that an echo? Might have just been an echo. I'm wondering, Kellen, what do the youth and the elderly, what maybe do they have in common?
You know, I would say a fresh perspective. That's what I like about those two age groups. I think it's when people are in the middle that they feel like they've got it too figured out. And so I like that young people and old people, they don't try to act like they have it all figured out.
Right. Like they're willing to take on a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And you know what I'd also encourage you is it doesn't necessarily mean you have to pick an age group and say, I only coach youth between this age and this age, or I only coach this age and this age. I coach individuals that want a fresh start, right? Mm-hmm. So you can do it that way too. You don't necessarily have to say just this age, but you could have, like you said, you have the separate programs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Kellen, my oldest client was 79. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome. You gain so much value as a coach from your clients, no matter who they are. And so I loved like hearing her stories, and like you said, like her fresh perspective, because everyone has something different to offer or a different angle, so it's exciting. Mm-hmm. Yes. Very cool, Kellen. Thank you. That's awesome how you were able to like find the common factor between your two groups.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Eddie, what about you? Who do you want to work with?
Okay. I'm going to work with the people from my country, of course. Mm-hmm. And the average age, I like tag this because I believe if I get people that is pretty much around my age, it's going to be easier for me, coach, because I'm gonna talking about something is related about myself. I'm gonna coach these people based in my experience about myself, and it is easy for me coach somebody that have something in common with me, look like me. Do you understand?
Yeah, so really your life story and your journey.
Exactly. Who is these people? It's people between 46. The people live in the United States. They come from my country. I have around 1 million people, 1 million person that I can coach. And what I can coach these people? I like quote about the live better, have a better habits. But I'm going to coach these people too about the business. How can I do better business? Because for me, one is related on one. You can get a good business, but if you don't have a good health, it doesn't work. And I'm going through with life coach business too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you froze up, Eddie.
I'm gonna keep doing this,
Right. That's awesome, Eddie. I think you froze up, but what I heard last was that you're gonna do a life coaching business as well.
Yeah. But specific for the people come from my country, because what I'm gonna tell these people is basically about my history, who I am, what I did, how I did, Then I can have something to quote to these people, I cannot quote people that I'm not have affinity. Make sense?
Definitely makes sense. So you have something in common with them, so
In common. That's the word. In common. Yeah, in common.
Very cool. And like I've said probably countless times in class, like our life story really affects our life coaching, and so a lot of people are inspired to become life coaches because they once had a life coach.
Yeah, based on their life story. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Eddie. What about you, Kanika?
Let me switch on the audio, yeah? Okay, hi.
Hi.
I think so. I know when I started this session, I was thinking about Indian clients and how they can do it based on Indian diet and everything. But I think over the course of this class, I think I've realized that maybe I just want to focus on young people, like between age is a secondary filter, but first I think I just want to filter on the young individuals who are just so busy working, enjoying life, because I feel that people are getting the chronic diseases much earlier, so it's very important to start taking care of yourself sooner. So I want to focus on corporate young individuals age is a secondary filter, but that would be probably around 20 to 40, or maybe 30 to 40. because I think people by 30s when your metabolism slows down and you realize that, oops, I'm gaining weight, or I am not healthy, or I'm beginning to get a backache. So basically, I think because that's where my husband and I realized that we need to start taking care of ourselves a lot more. And I see that a lot around in my office, in my previous office, in my friend circle. These problems are beginning to crop up, and they're beginning to, they want to know how they can start living better, or how they can adjust that into their lives. So I think that's where I feel the gap is, and I would want to fill that in.
Very cool.
At all? Okay.
Awesome, Kanika. So it sounds like a lot of things that you experienced or that have mattered to you, you really see that life coaching will be really beneficial to those types of people in those situations. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for sharing. So for this week, I would love for you guys to brainstorm kind of just potential ways of how you will manage clients. Eddie had this really helpful question, and I was like, everyone probably can do it in a different way or has different ideas of how to do it. I know for me, I'm a really big fan of Gmail, so I schedule appointments through Google Calendar, have folders for clients, in my email and so on. But I just want you guys to think about that, and if you want to share just with everyone else, like maybe resources that you find or know of that you think, oh, I can manage my clients in this way. I think that would be a great homework assignment for everyone, just to kind of get ideas, and then we can share them with each other. So that's what I'll leave you with that. Before we go on to perspectives, which is some really good stuff tonight, one of my absolute favorites. Let's talk about the assignment that's actually due next Wednesday already. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see this. All right, so this upcoming overview is overview 2. I'll make this a little bit bigger. This overview 2 is covering coaching presence. So this is really your being as a coach. So again, we're going to review agenda. We're going to review how curious and effective your questions are, and then learning and being questions. So really seeing how many of those are. And then establishing trust and intimacy. So how interested are you in their viewpoint, the ease and naturalness of the conversation with the coaching client, how well you did with avoiding judgment and embracing curiosity, and then coaching presence. So really trusting the process. So not really explaining a question as you're asking it, but just asking it. So not talking too much about concepts. Letting the value of coaching come out itself versus I need to make sure they understand the value. Being an observer, so not missing those cues, and really, oh, I noticed the way their face looked when I asked them that. I'm going to ask about that. You're kind of almost from the outside observing the conversation. And then being a student of the client. So you're not the expert. You're not bouncing back and forth, but ideally, to get a 3, you need to be in student mode. Like, I am studying this client. They're the topic, and I'm going to learn as much as I can about them. And then active listening. How well did you listen in context of the agenda, but also drawing more connections. So it's not just taking the agenda at topic value, but drawing more connections, maybe from previous conversations with this client or other goals that they have, and drawing more connections. How well did you perceive changes in the client's speech? So if you notice that you're using a word, or they chuckle, pause, asking about that, and just being really curious. Then being empathetic towards the client's energy, like when someone slumps their shoulders, or their voice gets really quiet, or they start talking really fast, and then asking questions about that. Then direct communication. How comfortable are you in not dressing up questions? So again, kind of like not explaining your question, but just being direct in asking it. How effective are you in using intuition? So using it without being attached to being right. And then to get it to a 4, it would be to actually invite your client to tap into their own intuition. And then confidence, that's, if you're doing all these other things, you're going to come across very confident, especially if you're trusting the process. But it's a balancing of like, I'm going to be confident, but I'm still going to be sensitive. So that's what we're grading on. And Kellen had a great question about, well, we usually listen to about a half hour, right? So the first one was about the first half hour of a conversation, listening for kind of the beginning components. These overviews, they are kind of in parts 1, 2, and 3. So as if parts 1, 2, and 3 equal a whole session, right? So this one is mostly the middle of a session that these things would be happening. So when we review it together, we'll listen to the beginning, so we make sure we hear the agenda, but then we're really listening to the middle of the conversation, so not getting into action yet, but just really the exploration. And you as the coach can DJ me around. You can say, oh, something really cool happened at this minute mark. If it's an hour session and you want us to move there, we definitely can. So that's kind of an idea for you guys. We listen to about a half hour. If these sessions are about an hour, you know, if we say we listen to the first 10 minutes and then we move, you know, to the 20-minute mark, because you felt like that's when it got really good, we can definitely do that. So we can definitely move ahead to make sure we get all those things that you felt like were really important. Any questions about the second full-length overview that's due? I know that's a lot, so. Okay. Well, let me know what questions you do have. My best advice is you listen to a couple of your recordings and see which one you feel best fits the criteria. Or even do one this week that you feel, okay, I'm embodying what it means to be a coach. But I think the biggest one is just not thinking so much about like, I need to do this, I need to do that. But just like, okay, it's not that I need to ask more curious questions. I just need to be curious. So kind of having that perspective, right? That's what we're talking about tonight, is that perspective. All right, so I'll look forward to seeing those in my inbox by next Wednesday. And then from there, we'll schedule our appointments together. And then after that, you guys have one left. So pretty exciting, already getting there. One other thing I do want to explain, I'll go back to sharing the screen really quick. So when you look at this, I do want to clarify. So a 1 is below like the associate coaching level, but 2 is actually associate coaching level. So if you ever see yourself get a 2 or 2.5, that's actually really good. You're on your way to being a PCC, which is 3, and then MCC is 4, according to the International Coach Federation. So getting a 2 or being on your way to a 3 with a 2.5 is really not that bad at all. It's heading in the right direction. It just means it's almost there. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because it's not that a 2 is really bad. And from here on out, this one is 20% of your grade. All of you guys are all doing really well. And the last one is actually 50% of your grade, which is on client's action, which is one of the easiest things. So that's kind of a cool thing too. So I encourage you not to worry so much about this and just focus on, okay, who do I need to be in this session? And what's the coaching perspective I need to put on? So that's that. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. But I look forward to hearing everyone's recordings as you submit those. All right, well, let's get into perspectives. Like I said, this is one of my favorite things, and I feel like we've had a lot of fun things in a row. Like we've had inner critic, future self, assumptions, limiting beliefs. And again, if you haven't done limiting beliefs yet, I'll check in with you guys next week if you had time to kind of look through that and do that exercise with yourself. But tonight, perspectives. We talked a little bit about perspectives last week with assumptions and limiting beliefs, how assumptions and limiting beliefs lead into perspectives. So a perspective is really created from our assumptions and our beliefs and emotions kind of all coming together. And then, and our experience and others' experiences can affect our perspective as well. So perspective really is a lens. So for example, I don't know what, there's those glasses that you can put on that you can put something else in front of it. I think it's maybe in science a lot. I don't know what they're called, but you know how you can have your just normal glasses, and then you could pop something else down and it affects how you see something. That's exactly what a perspective is. It's a lens. You add in different lens, like on a camera. You put on a lens that affects how you see the picture that you're looking at or the frame that you're looking at. So I know I was thinking about this. What is the biggest perspective I've had lately? And it's like, being a mom, like it literally affects everything I look at now. Like I think of vacation. I think of having a baby and how I'm going to work through that. Like I almost see everything through that lately. I can almost, I can't hardly even remember what it was like before that. So for me, that's a really big perspective I've had. Now, as we think about this exercise about perspectives, the most challenging part is getting a neutral topic, because what we do is we get a neutral topic and then we are able to try on different perspectives, but it's really hard to get a neutral topic. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to kind of explain how to do this, and you guys are going to go to breakout rooms together and try and get a neutral topic, because I want it to be separate from the whole exercise, because it is the most challenging part of this exercise. So let's give some examples, okay? So say the topic is math class, right? My best way to make sure it's neutral is check in with what emotion comes up when they say that topic. If they get to a place, for example, okay, is it positive when you think of school? Is it positive or negative, or what's coming up for you with school or math class? So you might go math class, and then, okay, isn't school broad enough? Is that neutral enough? Not quite. Okay, what about education? Not quite. Okay, what about high school experience or high school years? So really like taking it back until there's not really any feeling associated with it. I can go either way. So just think of it like broadening it almost, or pulling out any, like if there's emotion connected with it, what needs to be taken out of it so there's no emotion, or they could go either way. What do you guys think about that? It's kind of weird. I see Sarah laughing. What are you thinking, Sarah?
Like, I'm trying to think of things that are neutral. I'm like, what about like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Is that like neutral? Just action that you do? And you can do it a lot of different ways, I
guess you could try on different perspectives. What else might be a neutral topic? What do you guys think?
Oh wow.
What's the oh wow, Robin?
I don't know. I can't think of a real neutral that I can see where other people would bring in more, conversation around it, or would have a different perspective. I mean, Sarah said peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What if you're allergic to peanuts? I mean, so that's not going to be a neutral topic. And so it's just started me thinking of all the other things that would be not a neutral topic. I'm sorry, I was way off. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, Robin, why don't you and I demo this for everyone? What do you think?
Okay.
All right. So, Robin, thank you for agreeing to do the perspectives exercise with me. So this first part, I'm just going to ask you what you want to talk about today, and we're going to work on making it really neutral so that the exercise can be most effective. Is that okay?
Okay.
I noticed you have scrunched your eyebrows. What are you thinking there?
I just thought it was going to go in a different route, so that's fine.
What route were you hoping to take?
I don't know. I'm going to put forth a subject, and we're going to make it as neutral as possible. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we probably would have talked about, this might be a key time to talk about perspectives and so on, but we're just going to demo isolating and making a topic neutral.
Okay.
So I don't want you to start thinking of how I make what I want to talk about today neutral. just what's on your mind? What would you like to talk about?
So I was reading the, and let me know if this is part of it, if this will work or not, but I was reading Build Your Life's Work, and I was thinking about, doing the workshops that are in the back of it. And all of a sudden I got very concerned because I'm not all that great speaking in front of people I don't know.
Okay.
I tend to start talking really fast and I forget what I'm saying, and there's sweat rolling down my back, and is that something that we could go somewhere with this one?
Yeah, it sounds like it. So just for the benefit of everyone, what I'm hearing her say is there's the topic of workshops, and she has this perspective of fear and anxiety, maybe, or just there's a lot that's masking over just the topic.
Right.
Okay.
And I want to be able to do the workshop, but I feel like I need to do the workshops, and I have a concern.
Okay. So you have this concern. Now, pulling off of last week, I'm curious, Robin, is this a limiting belief? Like, is there some fact to your fear of workshops? Or are you assuming just based on some other criteria that you're not going to be good at
it? Past experience has told me that I'm probably not going to be good at it. I got maybe a 10% chance of being good at it.
So it sounds like you're identifying that as a limiting belief?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay. So, all right. So we have this topic of workshops, and would you say it's fear, anxiety? Like what is that perspective you're putting on it right now?
Anxiety.
Okay. All right. So we have workshops. What if we took it to public speaking? What do you notice about your anxiety then?
Well, in public speaking, I believe that's to a broader audience, a larger audience, which would bring on more anxiety.
Okay.
The bigger the audience, it's a matter of not knowing anybody.
Okay. So maybe that was the step into, like, not quite the right step for us in this exercise. What about just the topic of sharing your ideas?
Mm-hmm.
How's your anxiety level if you just think about the topic of sharing your ideas?
It's still pretty high. Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. What about sharing your ideas with your best friend?
I can do that. Yes, I can. I can do that. I think about it ahead of time and make sure I phrase it right. Yeah, I could do that. Okay.
But it sounds like you have a little bit of a positive perspective about sharing with your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's take it even farther. Okay.
Okay.
What comes up for you when you think about just preparing to share your ideas?
I guess I'm probably excited that I'm going to share that with someone. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about, so you're preparing to share, what about the step before of just collecting ideas?
Yeah. No, there's no excitement involved in that. There's no.
Is there any anxiety?
No.
Okay. So we went all the way from a workshop to collecting ideas as our neutral topic. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, that's probably where we would end up. Yes.
Okay. So what did you guys think about that? So we got to a place where she was neither like, woohoo, I'm so excited, to like just kind of a shoulder shrug. Like, what do you guys think?
So where would we go from here?
we would actually create new perspectives.
Okay.
And then we can go back to that original challenge or like what the thing you're facing and have you try on your signature perspective with that initial challenge.
Okay.
Because when we already have perspectives on, it's really hard to switch it. So you get a neutral topic so you can really create.
So yeah, we go back to the neutral topic of, what was the neutral topic? How did you phrase it?
We went to collecting ideas.
Collecting ideas.
So then I went to sharing and sharing with best friend, and then public speaking, and then giving a workshop.
Collecting ideas. Okay.
But the key is here, we just want to be neutral, because if you're swayed by a perspective, it's really hard to create the new perspectives. All right. So basically what I just helped her kind of take it back a step. So I really like the idea of like, okay, here's a class, you know, a subject. Okay, what about school, education, high school years, youth? I mean, you can just keep stepping back until there's no sway either way. All right, so we're going to take the next couple minutes and we're going to go to breakout rooms and have you guys each practice this. Choose the topic like you really want to focus on, because you are going to be coached on it as we come back. So I'm going to pause the recording.